Hi, everyone. This is Emily Schneider here for my Educational Technology Leadership Reflection. Today, I want to talk about one of the biggest challenges I think I'll face as a future educational technology leader: equitable internet access and the future of EdTech leadership. As both a teacher and a graduate student studying educational technology, I spend a lot of time thinking about how technology is changing schools today. There are a lot of exciting possibilities: digital learning tools, online collaboration platforms, and new ways for students to access information and engage with content. But along with those opportunities, there are also some important challenges. One issue that I think will be especially important over the next 3 to 5 years is equitable internet access for students, particularly for students who live in rural communities, like the ones I work with and my own children. We talk a lot about digital learning and education. Schools use learning management systems, online curriculum, digital assessments, and communication platforms. Many classrooms also rely on cloud based tools where students submit assignments, collaborate with classmates, and access instructional materials. But all of this depends on one very basic thing: reliable internet access. And the reality is, not every student or teacher has that access at home. This challenge is often referred to as the digital divide, and it continues to affect many students across the country. For me, this issue isn't just theoretical. It's actually something I experience personally on quite a frequent basis. I live in Fisher, Texas, a rural area located in a valley between Devil's Backbone and the Blanco River. Because of the geography of the area, reliable broadband internet service is extremely limited. Here's just one of many examples of what that actually looks like in my daily life. One evening, I was trying to submit a graduate assignment that was due at midnight. My home connection kept dropping, kind of like tonight, because of the terrain around the valley. So I ended up driving 30 minutes into town and sitting in my car outside a building with public Wi Fi just so I could upload my assignment. And in that moment, I realized once again, if this is challenging for me as a teacher and graduate student, imagine what it feels like for students and parents who have to deal with this every day. Even as a teacher and a graduate student studying educational technology, I do not have consistent home internet access. That means that when I'm completing coursework, researching resources, or participating in online discussions, I often have to rely on alternative solutions, like working from school, using public Wi Fi, using my phone's hotspot, and when that runs out, using the hotspots on my kids' phones or my husband's phone, or planning my work around when I have access to a stable connection. Experiencing this challenge personally has given me a very different perspective on the digital divide. It helped me realize firsthand that without reliable internet access, completing digital assignments or participating in online learning can become much more difficult than educators realize. For example, during the pandemic, the district provided hotspots to families of students without internet access at home. They failed to realize that some of the teachers, like me, didn't have internet access at home either. Since I ran out of data on my original cellular plan within the first 24 hours of instruction from my home, I spent almost $1,000 out of pocket before the district agreed to provide me with the same hotspots that went to students. According to 2024 EdTech Trends, insights from TCEA and SETDA, access to reliable broadband remains one of the biggest barriers to equitable digital learning. Even though schools have made major progress with devices and digital tools, many students, especially those in rural areas like mine, still struggle with consistent internet connectivity. When students cannot get online at home, it directly affects their ability to participate fully in learning. They may have difficulty completing assignments, accessing instructional resources, or communicating with their teachers outside of school hours. Over time, this can create unequal learning opportunities for students with reliable internet access and those without. The 2024 State EdTech Trends Report from SETDA reinforces this concern. The report highlights that digital equity, especially home internet access, remains a major priority for education leaders across the United States. Many states are actively working to expand broadband access and improve connectivity for students and families. But in rural areas, infrastructure challenges and geographic barriers can slow this progress. This is where the role of educational technology leadership becomes especially important. Chapter 9 of the Technology Coordinator's Handbook discusses how the role of technology leaders in schools is evolving. Technology coordinators are no longer responsible only for maintaining devices or troubleshooting technical problems. Instead, they are increasingly expected to serve as strategic leaders who think about how technology supports teaching, learning, and access. One of the key ideas from that chapter is that technology leaders must focus on equity and accessibility, not just technology implementation. In other words, it's not enough to introduce new tools into classrooms. We also have to ask an important question. Can every student actually use these tools? If some students cannot access digital learning resources outside of school, then those tools may unintentionally widen existing gaps in learning opportunities. As a future EdTech leader, I believe addressing this issue will require several strategies. First, technology leaders must work with districts to identify connectivity gaps. Surveys and technology audits can help determine which students lack reliable internet access at home. Second, schools can provide solutions such as mobile hotspot devices, community Wi Fi partnerships, or expanded access points on school campuses. Another important role for EdTech leaders is advocating for expanded broadband infrastructure, especially in underserved rural communities like the one where I live. At the same time, technology leaders must also support teachers. Teachers may need guidance on how to design lessons that remain accessible for students with inconsistent connectivity. This might include downloadable materials, flexible assignment options, or activities that can be completed offline. Professional development can help teachers think about technology integration in ways that remain inclusive for all learners. Ultimately, addressing equitable internet access is not just a technology issue, it is an educational equity issue. As someone who personally experiences connectivity challenges while teaching and completing graduate coursework, I understand how frustrating and limiting those barriers can be. That experience has strengthened my commitment to making sure technology initiatives are implemented in ways that truly support all students. Technology has the power to expand learning opportunities, improve accessibility, and support diverse learners. But that can only happen if every student can connect and participate equally. By focusing on digital equity, infrastructure planning, and inclusive instructional practices, educational technology leaders can help close the digital divide and ensure that technology truly benefits all students. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. It took me all night to create because my connection kept dropping all night long. Thank you. My final slide lists the research and visual media used throughout the presentation. Key references include reports from the Texas Computer Education Association and the State Educational Technology Directors Association, along with the guidance from the Technology Coordinator's Handbook. The visual media includes AI-generated illustrations created with DALL-E through ChatGPT, a trained image from Google Maps, and photographs from my personal collection that illustrate real rural connectivity challenges.